Greetings everyone, I'm the delicious and mythical Griffin Muffin. WarCraft IV, in my mind, was one of the most influential games of the early 2000s. I would even go so far as to say it was one of the most influential games ever. I personally spent countless hours in this game, be that for the compelling story campaigns, the skirmishes, or its famous custom maps. You know what, I could wax poetic about this game for hours on end, so let's just settle it there. Needless to say, fans like me were eager for a sequel, especially after the expansion, The Frozen Throne. But I started to come to a realization after I heard about the Warfronts feature appearing in the current expansion in WoW, as of making this video, Battle for Azeroth. In this mode, you act as the hero unit amidst a hybrid RPG RTS PvE scenario where you train units, research upgrades, and construct buildings and all that good stuff. And it got me thinking about why such a feature would be done in the first place, and I came to a thought that I don't think we're ever going to get a WarCraft 4. Please, just hear me out though. I'm not saying this in an antagonistic way at all. Like, you know, Blizzard is a crap game developer and don't know what they're doing or whatever. My opinion is quite the contrary. That Blizzard seem pretty savvy with how to run their business and as well as being a top-notch video game developer. If you firmly believe there will be a WarCraft 4, then please, hold on to that hope. Discuss it below. The implementation of the Warfronts was the catalyst of this thought train of mine, and I want to back up this discussion with a few other points I have. So let's go through the reasons why it probably won't ever happen. Number 1. The issue of sequel or prequel. The story of Warcraft has continued through the MMORPG, World of Warcraft. Therefore, if Warcraft 4 was to ever be produced and released, where in the timeline would it be placed? You could settle on a few instances, like, 1, it's a sequel to Warcraft 3, but where in the timeline could it be? Some YouTubers, such as Nixium, have suggested that perhaps a Warcraft 4 could be set amidst the second expansion, Wrath of the Lich King. I mean, there's a lot of, strategical scenarios where enemies were, the Alliance and Horde were invading Northrend, and there were many military-like scenarios in there, so I can get that. I mean, this would be ideal, as there were many monumental moments as well in that expansion, which could potentially be expanded and fleshed out through a story campaign. But eventually, at the end of the day, it's already done, and it may not appeal to a general audience. Oh, speaking of audience, that reminds me of money. That nicely leads into my second point. Well, sort of. Second point. Would it make bank? Yes. You, your friends, and myself would pre-order the collector's edition to show our support for Warcraft 4. But how many of us are there? These people shouting from the rooftops for a Warcraft 4 could just be a vocal minority. And would there be enough people to sink enough time and money into supporting this base? But an additional point is, oh, it doesn't need to be for us hardcore fans, but they can try and reinvigorate the RTS genre again. While this is true, Blizzard have started trends and spawned entire genres of games. I'd argue though the gaming climate is so different from, 20 years ago now? Oh my god, I'm so old. There's just too many games out there now. I remember when you would get like a game in a single year back in my teens, and then nowadays it's just an awesome game is coming out every friggin' month. We also gotta remember that Blizzard make their games, in my opinion that is, I don't have any sources on this, that it seems that they make their games with a single mantra. Easy to pick up, hard to master. And Blizzard have designed WoW to appeal to that mantra. The game can appeal to a wide amount of audiences in order to be profitable, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not a game developer and my knowledge of business management is rudimentary at best, but when a business such as Blizzard develops and releases a new game, one would assume the following parameters are met. There is a substantial, guaranteed return of profit, the product has longevity, and there is a viable target market for this. A substantial profit may not be gained by just the hardcore fans. Longevity again revolves around money. Money put in to provide updates, hotfixes, balancing, managed servers for multiplayer, and so on. And lastly, yes, us hardcore fans would play it, but let's be honest, sometimes the fans, don't know what we want. I know I've definitely had my moments with rose-tinted glasses in some games. You may have those nice, warm, fuzzy feelings of staying up late with your mates playing Footman Frenzy, but maybe you're a different person now. For me personally, I'd still want a Warcraft 4, but I don't think it's just nostalgia. Speaking of nostalgia though, on to my next point. Oh man, nailing these segues. My third point, a ghost from a different time in video games. By this I mean, While I would argue the RTS genre is not necessarily dead, as some might say, it certainly isn't as popular. Oh yes, I remember the golden age of RTS from roughly 1996 to 2010. 'Twas glorious! And you know what? I would say that Blizzard themselves heavily influenced that trend where you saw that more RTS games were released after the release of WarCraft II, StarCraft, and WarCraft III. RTS games were the shiz then, and there's no doubt about it. However, trends come and go. While we've seen time and time again relatively smaller companies like Obsidian Entertainment crowdfunding other installments of a dormant genre like CRPGs, then Dustwind for those who are fans of the Fallout Tactics genre, and then Shovel Knight for that old school platformer fix you might need. If Blizzard was to do a similar call out to fans for Warcraft 3 and to do a Kickstarter or something for Warcraft 4, it would be very successful in my opinion. But I think Blizzard doesn't want to make a game just for the die-hard fans. They want to make games that the average gamer can be interested in and pick up. My fourth point, we the fans are holding it back. By this I mean, ask yourself the hard question. What do you want out of a Warcraft 3 sequel? More races to play? New characters? Same style of play? Or a new RTS style of play? Do you want custom maps? I'm asking these questions because without a clear outline of what you and I want from Warcraft 4, how are Blizzard going to meet those standards? Maybe we just, I don't know, maybe we just hold in our minds this awesome game that gave us days, even months of collective playtime, and we just want that again. Imagine the hype of a Warcraft 4 game could generate, and if Blizzard doesn't meet that hype, those expectations that we have, it would be catastrophic for the company. It's a calculated risk to make Warcraft 4, but it's a guaranteed safety net to keep on making WoW. Who knows, maybe RTS might make a return and the fancy graphs that the hoity-toity business people look at will begin to show signs of an RTS return, and from there, our hopes can once again be kindled. So in this video, I've been pretty negative about a sequel in the Warcraft RTS genre so far, but I want to provide a rebuttal to my own point here. Although I think we're not ever going to get a Warcraft 4, this doesn't mean we, the fans, are powerless. Yes, we can accept the reality of Warcraft 4, that it may never be a thing. But what about other ways to build on the RTS genre? The Warcraft RTS genre? What can we do to perhaps let Blizzard know that Warcraft 4 would be a profitable and popular game? Here's a few ways. Support your community. As you may or may not know, there are actually a few fan-made projects out there underway. For example, there is an indie game called Loria, Rage of Chaos, which is a throwback to the golden age of RTS style of games, with sprites and graphics reminiscent of Warcraft 2. I personally have played the recent demo, and it's pretty solid, but still very much in development. Playing games like this and giving feedback as well, and promoting it, will show developers like Blizzard your interest and devotion. You gotta put your money where your mouth is sometimes and donate to help these fan-made projects. It's pretty much the only way they stay alive, even if funding these sort of projects honestly can be very dicey. But if you do help these people out, Blizzard can see that money you're giving to them and go, wait a minute, that's money. That could be our money! And lastly, if I were to suspend my opinion that Warcraft 4 is not happening, just for a moment, be a bit optimistic. I would say that a Warcraft 4 prequel or remaster is the way to go. It shouldn't be set amidst the events of current WoW, because it would be an absolute minefield for a game writer to write a game after all the events of Warcraft 3. But the lore and stories before those games are relatively unexplored. They wouldn't have to make sure everything slots into the world and avoid creating plot holes and inconsistencies. They could perhaps make a Warcraft 1 and 2 into one game, bring modern RTS gameplay mechanics into it, new cinematics, the whole shebang to appeal to the general audience. That's a good move. I would totally get on that just as much as I would a Warcraft 4. And a remaster of Warcraft 3? I think this might be good, but again, a remaster of that game could have a quick burnout of, yep, I've strolled down memory lane, now I'm bored. And that shouldn't be the effect of another Warcraft game. It shouldn't have that effect at all. I, for one, don't just want another quick fix. I want a game I can get lost in and play for hours again. A game that challenges me and inspires me to be a better gamer. Each installment of the Warcraft franchise, in my opinion, should be an improvement of that one before it, and be a stepping stone of video game innovation. I just think some games represent certain times in our lives that we can reminisce on. We can never recreate that experience again. Just a thought, I guess. But guys and gals, more importantly, what do you think? Still hopeful for Warcraft 4, Warcraft 3 Remaster, a prequel game? As always, I'm eager to know your thoughts, so feel free to comment down below. And thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, click the bell. Do all that lovely stuff down below. My apologies for lack of videos lately. I've been writing scripts for future videos, doing research, working with artists, being a dad. Like, he's walking now, so I'm trying to spend more time with him, being a bit more active with him, and to be honest, I've been playing a lot of Battle for Azeroth. I hope to start up my Witcher chapter recaps again soon. I've actually been working on getting that going again. Recently rewrote the script and did the voiceover just before this one. Just got to sort out finances and the artist, and should get that rolling again. And I know a lot of people are keen for that, so yeah, I'm excited as well. Anyways, share this video with your mates, and I'll catch you later.